our kind of task for today is looking at how we can actually learn things from the field of magic and how that hopefully help us to innovate more effective, less wasteful, more patient-centered medical devices. I think there's so much that happens when we're looking at objects and processes in terms of where those kind of perceptual gaps lie in terms of usage and what's really happening, how something really needs to function. And then I think also in terms of, this sort of effect that is both being desired and achieved.
And this is a sterile gown because everything is done in a sterile fashion. And then here's the components of the kit and how it's set up. And so really kind of everything needs to come out of this kit and placed on that sterile surface in order for this to work. Let's bring some people together who have experience with design, who have experience in engineering, who have experience with materials or in the patient experience, and see if they can come up with some new stuff.
In terms of deciding the numbers of tracks as well as the kinds of formats, do you have any guidance on what we should aim for?
They have started with experimenting with all kinds of other formats than just paper tracks. That has gotten a lot of traction over the years. That other formats such as debates, workshops, conversations, all these different formats, they become more and more attractive and important probably at a conference.
One of the things that we probably need to temper is just trying out all the formats this year, maybe identifying one or two experimental formats. I think we have some precedent for more visually focused publications. And then I know that one of the SIGs is focused on audio experiences. And so that's something we're looking at, tagging audio in the DL.
The other one that's come up a couple of times with the group that we met, I think it was last week, is pictorial. And thinking about the questions about rigor, peer review, whether those things could be installed as an exhibition.
Data embodiment, approaching the body as a choreographic medium for performing abstract data. The decisioning around how to visualize data is similar to the composition of how a choreographer would organize bodies on stage, and left me with the thought of why not choreograph a data set, and thought I would take a go at it. Thinking about embodiment in terms of how data can be expressed, how data can be performed.
On this approach that I call autographic design. And it's a method to really show traces and present them as visualizations in order to make the process of data production more understandable and accountable.
Visualizing the data and sonifying the data seem to respond to different goals, different intentions. Data on the effect of El Niño on Eastern Australian rainfall generate music. I actually wanted to mention that there is this continuous tension in sonification between artistic approach and scientific approach that tend to use abstractedly isolated parameters of sound, as Dietmar was saying.
This really is about the way that technology, in its abstraction, sometimes dehumanizes the subject, but also complicates the world, as it were. So how do we understand the kind of ripple effect in our imagination of the colonial period, and how this is really talking about data in the way that we sort of capture imagination in this way, representation, embodiment, and so on.